All right, welcome back to the channel. All right, Bob Arum throws a hissy fit at Eddie Hearns in the aftermath of the Otto Wallen embarrassment of Tyson Fury. Let's talk about that in this video. All right. Welcome back to the channel. Subscribers, if you're not subscribed, I hope you accept my invitation to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified when we release more videos. And also to the subscribers, thank you so much. Please share the video, like the video, and help and attend the live streams that we do every day, Monday through Friday, right around 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And also OG Boxing Talk at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time on Sundays with myself, Blood Boxing, Curtis Anderson, and KQKC Boxing, where we talk about the current state of boxing and all the kind of good stuff. But let's get to this video. Bob Arum, man. I'm telling you, man, this guy is slick as a can of oil, man. This dude is slick. After the Tyson Fury fight, he had to address a bunch of questions about Tyson Fury having gotten exposed, busted up, struggling against a journeyman. And he turns it around like he does, because he's been around a very, very, very long time, man. And I don't say that disrespectfully. I'm not one of these guys. I never disrespect age. I don't believe it. I don't believe you should ever disrespect somebody that achieved something that you want to achieve. That's just, to me, doesn't make sense, right? The guy's almost 90 years old. He had to have done something right because he made it to 90 years old, where there's a whole bunch of people who have not. And he's been tremendously, tremendously successful in what he's done. So obviously there are things that you can learn from the guy. But, while at the same time, pointing out snakery and shenanigans, you know what I'm saying? Hey, man, he might have survived. He might have survived that long just drinking pure vinegar. You know what I mean? But anyway, man, Bob Arum says, we should he's in an interview by Fight Hype. And who else aired it? Because, when you have these interviews after the press conference, there's like 5 or 6 different channels that all have their camera on the guy saying the same thing at the same time. So, I think this was probably the version that was on Fight Hype and not the one that was on IFL TV. I think when I watched IFL TV, they conveniently ended it right where Bob Arum threw this monster threat out at Eddie Hearn, which was, if he keep playing around, we're going to hit him with claims for tortious interference and pack his ass up and send him back to the UK and float him back over there to the UK. Wow, man. And honestly, man, hey, since we're in the business, Eddie Hearn's in the business of, everybody these days in boxing is in the business of throwing around lawsuits, threats of lawsuits. But we know Bob Arum, man, is the old school master of that. Bob Arum will sue a fighter for trying to leave him when his contract is clearly up. He will threaten to sue if a fighter is a free agent. Bob Arum will threaten to sue somebody that tries to work with him for trying to work with him, just claiming that he still has a contract with the guy and scare people off. Bob Arum, that's one of his old master tricks, man. But this one is for tortious interference. And I think the dude's got a point. I think he's got a point because the conversation that came up was about whether or not Devin Haney was going to fight Vasily Lomachenko. And I didn't hear the offer, even though I didn't hear what the offer was mentioned by the person that was interviewing, who was doing the interview, that asked the question. But it was, hey, Bob is the only part that I got out of it was that Eddie Hearn is going to make an offer. Now, I heard somewhere else that Eddie Hearn would have a massive offer for Lomachenko to fight Devin Haney, right? Now, Bob Arum is also thinking about Lomachenko fighting in the UK. He's thinking about Lomachenko fighting Australia, right? He's going to take Lomachenko global because he should. It just makes sense. He's not He's not a tremendous draw in the United States because he's not from the United States, right? And there's no real connection between him and the people in the United States. And as much as promoters want to create one, it's very difficult to create a true connection between somebody, who's not from the United States and the general population in the United States, especially in boxing, where the people that would be inclined to really like Vasyl Lomachenko, and I'm not saying like him, like appreciate his skill set as a boxer. Anybody that loves the sport of boxing can appreciate that guy's skill set in the boxing ring, because his skill set it's excellent. It's excellent. It's entertaining. He's entertaining. He's highly skilled. The one downside on it is that he's, 3'2" and 105 pounds. And that's kind of hard to pitch when you can look at pictures of a guy standing with, like, man, did you see the one with Dillian White's fake brother? Was standing next to Lomachenko. I think calls himself Dean White for some crazy reason. Anyway, Lomachenko came up about 4 inches above his waist. Looked like a Cub Scout picture, like where you got a Cub master and you got the little Cub Scout next to you, smile like, hey, this is my Cub Scout. He just got his wolf badge. His one day he wants to be an Eagle Scout. That's what Vasyl Lomachenko looked like in a picture with this guy, Dean White. But anyway, so the international thing, that they're pitching, I think that's a good idea. When Bob Arum said we're going to sue him for tortious interference, though, yeah, man. Eddie Hearn is flirting with that, because what tortious interference is, it's saying that that there is a contractual relationship between two people, but you are doing something that is encouraging one of the parties to breach the contract. Like if Bob Arum and Eddie Hearn Bob Arum has Vasily Lomachenko. And this is the particular case here. And I'd have to look into specifically what the elements of tortious interference are and in what particular state the issue, would have to be adjudicated. But the gist of it is that Eddie Hearn, by making offers to Lomachenko, is interfering with the contractual relationship between Lomachenko and Bob Arum. And he's doing it purposely and with an understanding that in doing so, he's encouraging or may cause harm to Bob Arum, because Vasily Lomachenko might decide to breach or not perform sections of his contract. It'd be like Eddie Hearn, Bob Arum saying, "Hey man, I know you got a contract and you have a contractual relationship with Bob Arum, but if you break it, I'll give you $10 million." That's what happened. I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but that's pretty much what happened with Rock Nation and Demetrius Andrade. And Demetrius Andrade, excuse me. Is it Andrade? Demetrius Andrade's old promoter. Rock Nation met with him prior to a fight that was taking place supposed to take place with Jermell Charlo. And Rock Nation said, look, don't take that fight. We'll pay you the amount of money you were going to make in a signing bonus, and I want you to fight these other fights with us. So Demetrius Andrade said, okay, I'll do that. He pulls out of the fight with Jermell Charlo. And so the fight that they had agreed to was hurt. There was another promoter that was already working with Demetrius Andrade. So they tried to sue Rock Nation. But Rock Nation said, no, we don't know what Demetrius Andrade is talking about. We didn't offer him anything. We didn't make any payments. So, because they knew they had opened themselves up to that, they let Demetrius Andrade hold the bag. So when Bob Arum said that, I could see why IFL TV wanted to cut that up out of there. Because quite honestly, that is Bob Arum is playing. Eddie Hearn is playing with he is flirting with that. I can't say that he's actually been in violation of that, because, he's in the media and I'm sure he's saying, hey, he needs to talk to Bob Arum. But, if he was able to work it out with Bob Arum, I could get him and Bob Arum a lot of money. Right? Is that an interference when he's acknowledging that Bob Arum, all of that type of stuff that would actually have to get adjudicated. But But I bet you he woke up Eddie Hearn with that because he is clearly, man, he's flirting with it. Okay. He might, if he doesn't violate if he's not violating the letter of the law, man, he's walking right up to the edge and stomping and rubbing his feet on the spirit of it. You know what I mean? So anyway, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that, man. But Bob Arum, man, trying to shine that Tyson Fury turd and getting hot at Eddie Hearn, because Eddie Hearn gonna run to the hills with this. It's hilarious, man. Definitely go check those videos out, man. Anyway, it is what it is. Let me know what you think in the comment section. With that, I'm out. Peace.